continue, or rather go back to his base. So basically the shilas were what's negir the protim that, so just simply say that we're Avodim and Hashem took us out. Dafke Mitzrayim and Havaya Lekenu and it's Mishom and Yot Chazaka and Israel Netuya. And secondly, what's the hero? So Beis Va'inyan who can put beside the Arizal ala Piska Vod Hoyinu Chulu. So the Arizal there says Shekol Inyoni Akdusha Yos Behelem Vehester Meitzar V'Doichek. That the matzav of Kedusha in the time of Yitzias Mitzrayim, before Yitzias Mitzrayim, the time of Avodim Hayinu, was concealment, covered, narrow, and oppressed. And Klippa was in a state of Parah, which means dominance and revelation. This period is Galim Minei Kol Noherin Zohar. The Zohar says about Parah, it means to peel back and reveal from him, meaning Elikus, all the lights. Which means on the one hand, V'haynu shayokol ashboish m'lamayla. Those tremendous gila, it's part of the Kedusha. Ella shashbois hoye b'lamazeh. But Lopeil, it was constrained and constricted and ensnared, as it were, in Lu'umazeh. How is it possible? How is it possible? On the one hand, Paray means this period of his Galim and they call Nohirim. And we're saying that where does it go? In Lu'umazeh. So the Tamadov, and the reason is Lefisha Paray Oimid Ba'irif the Arich. Paray stands literally, is lodged in the nape of Arich. So what is Arich? Darich Bechinas Makif Shalmayim Mishtal Shalos. Dafke, because he's rooted in Arich, which is hiding Mishtal Shalos. Where dark and light are equal. And so on. If he gave tzedakah, what have you given him? And if he sinned exceedingly, what have you done to him? Rhetorical questions. The answer is nothing, because this is the darge where Avedis Tachtoinim doesn't reach. As it goes into the Seisha Kol, Ma'isa Tachtoinim, Ein Enegeh Klal. So that's the answer. That's why there can be indika from there, because it could go either way or no way. The level of Goyrel. Because all is insignificant in the face of this makif. So not only can there be a nika, continues now, it's not only that it's equal, and Kedusha can also receive. In the end, Klippa will receive. Kedusha can get temporarily, but Kedusha can't be sustained from Makif. Kedusha has to be Avodah Pnimis. Ki beKedusha kol inyonim hem b'seide v'cheshben. In Kedusha, everything is b'seide v'cheshben, because the kavan is Tira b'tachtenim, so it's seide v'cheshben. B'ashpo leKedusha. And Ashbot, the Kedusha, B'chinas HaPnimi Davke. Kedusha gets from Pnimius because that's what Eibishter wants. Leim B'chinas HaMakiv and not Makiv. So now he has to address in the brackets, if it doesn't get from Makiv, so why did we say before that it's Kachashei Chakayra? It's only Cheshach. It only goes to Klippa. So he adds in brackets. It's not the Pshat that it can't be a Hashbah, but temporary. It can be from this Darge of Makiv, and there should be, that's Eiris the Toyo has to be at the root, but Vashbo Shecheluli is the Kedusha, B'chinas HaMakiv, that's only going to be a Makiv, the Gavoida, so that can be at the outset. The person is inspired superficially, mean to say from the environment, and it's stuck in inspiration, it's stuck in Kedusha, but it won't last. Rak Lefi Shot Muvu B'Kuntas HaMayin explains in Kuntas HaMayin that the Makiv is good and necessary to begin the Avoida, but the actual avodah has to be avodah pnimis. So therefore, at the end of the day, so who gets from makif in a sustained way? It's dafke klip. Malachim Yina Kedusha Yos B'Pchinas Helen V'Hestim B'Meitzav Adoichik, and therefore Kedusha was concealed and suppressed and oppressed, suppressed and oppressed. Showing in the Mitzrayim, that's the end of Mitzrayim Meitza. That's what we're up to, right? Now continue. Horsham explains in Siddur Arizal, in Mitzrayim, who Meitzar Yom, 2 words. Meitzar Yom, a narrow sea, ocean. What is the Inyan? Haynu shebchinas habina b'meitzav v'helen. Bina is a broad sea, or is a sea, but in this case, it's Meitzar Yom. Shalachem linasa leidas hamidas ma'bina. And because the bin is not developed, therefore there can be there's no emotional response. The midas don't emerge because the bina, the understanding, isn't thorough and expansive and broad. Only then will there be a born emotion in the heart when there's a real understanding. And then comes, of course, the das, the conviction which follows. That's not the state. The midas abehelim. And this is why Golus is compared to a state of pregnancy. It's not the pregnancy, but the ibur, the fetus. It's also from the Arizal. The Zohar says, Tlas Klolin Goy Tlas. It's a reference there to Golus, and it means the 3 are incorporated in the three. Which 3? Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes of the Midas. Where are they? They are incorporated in the He, not above it, not expressive. They're concealed in the He, in the lower Midas. In the words of the Gemara Nida, which by the way are striking, the Gemara Nida describes the matzav of the fetus thousands of years ago, obviously Gemara Nida, and it's incredible the precision and detail that has remained unchanged, of course, despite all the advancements in medical science. Not just the matzav, I mean, the matzav can be seen. I mean, when a woman dies, you can see, but the state of the uber. So there it describes the whole arichas there, that the uber, the fetus, the head is between its knees. That's what we're saying over here. That the head, mind you, the tlas is not just chesed with tiferes, it's Chabad. Sorry, so to add that the tlas, the 3 is bein birkov. The head is between the knees. Haynu shemiyos sheyesh beikol enyon. Everything is present there. So the tlas goes on both moichin and the chagas. But where is Aram Behelim? They're all in a concealed state and inseparable from the lower functions of the nefesh. Now what's Nehi? Nehi is functioning. Nehi is survival. The Gemara goes on to saying there, the fetus eats what his mother eats, and drinks what his mother drinks. That's netzach yesod. That's just survival. So it's a living entity, it's surviving, eating, sleeping. Even sleeping, actually sleeping all the time, but I think later on the eyes open. But what? There's no intellectual process in a conscious way or midas in a conscious way. Conclusion, so this is the inyan of Mitzrayim, that Bina, which is Seichel, which gives birth to midas, it's all in a constrained state. And that is the state of the uber, b'mei imay. Golus is compared to the uber, to the fetus. So connecting to how this began, this discussion. So because then the time of Avodim Hayinu the Paroi, the Mitzrayim, so therefore what's being disgala is only the Makiv, Arich, Oiref, the Arich, Mitzabchinas HaMakiv, Lo Yeshna Shpo, Bekdusha, only Klippe is nourished, but not Kedusha. So Yidden are in a matzav of the Uber of the fetus. Vadraba Shpo, Ibulumaze, on the contrary, as we said before, the Ashpo is not just either one or both or none, but it goes dafke to lumazek, mishakosov, shmomis, birdain, titopes. A spider in the hand would be grasped and removed. But it's present in the palace of the king, of the Makiv. So there, the shmomis, the spiders have no significance, and hence it can get its unique. So that's the matzav of what of pre-Yitzias Mitzrayim. That's the matzav of Golos Avodim Hayinu Lefarim Mitzrayim. But then so how does Golos end? What does it mean to go out of Golos? It means that the Makiv is drawn in Kedusha, in Pnimius. And that's the meaning of all the pratim here in Avodim Hayinu. First the outline, and then in the subsequent is the beer. All the diyukim now. And biyot chazak v'zayde tuya. So now the outline, the geography. So havai lekenu is chachma bina. The strong hand and the outstretched hand, they are the two arms of Arich, which is higher than Chachma and Bina. Arich, Keser, the two arms of Arich. What is that? So the Gemara says, Kedisa b'Gemara, Shiyot Chazaka Yad Yamin. The strong hand refers to the Mishta's right hand, that's Chesed. In the outstretched hand, or Yad Smoil is the left hand, Ve'im, so that is the Inyan here of Chesed, the Gevura de Arich. So what does this mean? We just established that Yod Chazaka Zayin are Chesed and Gevura of Arich. So it continues now. So what is happening here in the Yitzias Mitzrayim is that the Giloy of Arich, both Chesed and Gevura, become enclosed in the pnimius of Havaya Lekeinu Chachman Bina. We clear the geography? Showing, and this is what he says there, that is al Shavor. That's Abba v'Ima, Chachma Bina, Shil Bishul is Rois the Arich, they dressed or embraced, enclosed the arms of Arich. So, Kitzer, or restated, that the arms of Arich, the Gilui of Arich, Chesed, the Gevur of Arich, and Slabish, were in Chachma Bina, which means in the Pnimius. Right, with the geography now, the whole beer will come. And this is the whole Yitziyah of Mitzrayim. And this is also the diuk in the Avodim Hayinu here. Heiנו Mishom, I mean, in Pashtus, the word Mishom is extra, it's superfluous. Avodim Lefarim Mitzrayim, Heiנו, when he took us out, of course from there we're also speaking. But the diuk is that the whole Yitziyah's Mishom meaning, the Shom, Ubchinas HaMakiv, this very level of Makif. From where Pari got his unique. Commissioner Kosse brings a pasuk in Yirmiyah. Koru Shom Pari. They called it, to see the pasuk there, the details, but he's mocking Pari. They called it to Pari. Havir Hamoyed, the time passed, he said that he would bring them back to Yidden. And the time passed, Havid Moed, and he didn't, because he was broken. So this is the Yitzia Mitzrayim. He wants to bring out is that Koru Shom Pari, the pasuk there too, in this pasuk in Yirmi again, not just they called out to Pari, they called there to Pari. There it's all the remes to where to this level of makif. Until now he was getting his unique, and now it's Havid Moed. Time has passed, my friend, and now it's being nimshach in kedusha, and that's the end of Pari. Having the Amshacha now drawn in the Pnimius, which means that the Pnimius Kavana is being played out here. That the Kavana is a Yidden and Torah Mitzvahs and so on. So here that is in his battle. Therefore, the Inika to Paroi, Hayinu, and that's the Diak here, and he took us out where Misham from this very Darga. That till now was nourishing Paroi, now is Nislabish. In Chachman Bina, the Zeroyas, the arms of Arich are enclosed and invested in Chachman Bina, in Kedusha, and hence, therefore, Pari is Nizbat. Yeah, so that's the geography. We're clear? Now he's Gimel the beer. And you've had to bash this, but the Maimon it's all based on Maimon we didn't learn. The Maimon Achli Mois.
A quick question.
Yeah.
Why do we say that through the Hamshach of Pnimius is this battle the Unika? Maybe it's possible that the Yidden should still have Hashpah Pnimius, and the Goyim can still have the Hashpah for Makif. Why is it automatic that if a Yid is nimshach into Pnimi, is therefore in this battle the hamshacha to the Goyim, which is makif?
Yeah, in Pashtus, the simple answer is that the whole hashpah goes to the Pnimius. The whole arich, zroiz the arich, it's all nimshach b'Pnimius. That's in Pashtus, like technically. The answer, a little bit deeper, is that when the avodah is bepnimius, which means that even though Esav the Yaakov, but then there's this gala the pnimius hakavana that is Esav, there's Yaakov Ahavti, there's Esav Sanesi. So once the pnimius is revealed, there's a rejection, a complete rejection of Pari of Klippa. When he reveals his inner desire, it's only mitzad chitzoni sarotzen that Klippa can have a unique. But mitzad the pnimi sarotzen of the dira, which is he wants a relationship with Neshamas Yisrael Dafke, then there's no room for Pari. Out, you're out. In other words, kind of because the mashal of the Heichal HaMelech mitzad etzem binyan. So there's room for the spider. But then when the king is looking at the building, the Proteus as a reflection of his relationship with his people, etc., then there's no room, no tolerance for anything other than him and his people. Him and the Malka, whatever the marshal is. So once the Kavon, the Pnimis is revealed, that's it. Then the Atzmos was Boiche Dafke, Torah mitzvahs, Yidden, Mordechai, and not Haman. So Haman is hung on the very gallows that he erected for Mordechai, which is also the Makif, the Sharanun, because this Makif is now Nimshach b'Pnimius. Bemes, yeah, I mean, the Maimer, Alkin Kodul, you may put him Tavshin the second Maimer addresses this more detail, that after B'chiras Ha'atzmos, even the Makif is only Dafka Nimshach to Yidden. Ata Temech Geroli. You support my Geirol, the Geirol is fixed in his Nimshach and the Pnimius, which means that even the Chetzonius Haratzin Nasa fused with the Pnimius Haratzin, there's no room, even at the Chetzonius Haratzin level, for anything other than the Kavanah Pnimius. That's really the Chiddush of that Maimah there, this the point that you're raising. All right, we'll go further. Yeah, or be the Indian. Yeah. Or be the Indian. You've been to machine is but my Marakedim again. There's the Chaim Aswad didn't mean Lunachli voice. Truth is we should have, but it's just at the time factor. We'll get back to it because all the Maimonides we learned now that these last two is all based on that one.
So maybe it's time to reconsider the game plan.
Middle of the mind, but okay, we'll have time to choose this. We'll have time before Pesachim to do it. We're doing every day. Today is only hey. Listen, should we okay? So in the previous mind, being in our dikna, in the union of dikna, a beard. So in Zohar it says the following statement: "Yesh dikna ba'arich anpin, yesh dikna b'zo." Arich anpin has a beard, and Zer anpin has a beard. Pashtas, their faces, so a big face, a small face. So there's a beard. Mashenkin Abba Chochma Datzilus ainly dikna. But Chochma Datzilus doesn't have a beard. It's also Abba, father. A male doesn't have a beard. What happened? Male Bina doesn't have a beard. Bina is female. But Abba is masculine. So why is there no beard in Abba? The Nila Mukubolim Barishonim. I have to see the source of this. It's fascinating. But the early Mukabalim, Nila means gematet in Yiddish. They worked hard, struggled. Why is there no beard in the level of Abba? By way of Moshel, how is it possible? There's a dikna to the Zayda, the grandchild have a beard. Well, the father, the middle generation has no beard. So, this is my Morad Marazokin. But also in the Kutta Torah, okay. So the Alter Rebbe explains, Huva b'dira maschil v'Avram Zokin l'Admur Marash brought down also in Avram Zokin. Avram became old, and also Zokin, the union of a beard. The word means both things. To the Rebbe Marash. So what's the beard? The beard is as follows: Shedikna the zo nimshach me'abba. The beard of zo. What must remember, of course, zo is what the mid is. So it's nimshach from where? From Chachma. Yafa Pekain, who bezodafke, but Abba Chachma does not have the dikna. Who does? Zo. Why? So what's the Inyan aside is dikna? What is the beard is hair? The hairs. What's the hair? When do you need it and what is it? When we're going from one level to the other. And the level, the source is incomparable to the level below, so it can't be a regular gilui. It has to be through tzimtzum, and that's the union of sidus. That's the union of the hair. Commercial aside like physical hair. Talking about the hair of the head. That even though it gets its life force, the hair from the mayach, but from the mayach, the mirror's glimmer, the mirror's reflection of chayis is drawn into the side. So by the h'tשכ etzem ha'gulgelis, and the hair gets its chayis first through the interruption, literally the tzimtzum of the etzem ha'gulgelis, the skull. That's the union of sidus. So sidus bekitzer means shocha that comes as a result of a tzimtzum, and that's necessary because it's radical. The level that produces the level below it is bein aroich. It's not a simple ilu v'olu, but a radical step. And a radical step needs sidus. K'meikin l'maylik, so it concludes in the Kodesh, inyan ha-sidus meir alam shocher shebein aroich. So when the inyan of sidus l'maylo, it's good to have this marshal of sidus, because this compels us not to think in physical terms. Speak about oil and keli, imagining lights going on and off, whatever. Bright, dim lights. The union of sidus compels us to think conceptually. So it's Amshocha Shebenada. So when is it required? When you have an Amshocha, which is Benadach. Now we will solve the riddle. Zel Sha'arich Yesh Lizak. So Arich and it's Amshocha Lemata, there's the enough siders, because Amshocha and Arich Latzilus are the Pchina siders. Arich is Makif, is transcendent, it's relatively bligvol, and to be Nimshach and Atzilus, it's got to be through what? Through Tzimtzum siders. Arich of Pchinas bligvol. Arich, relatively speaking, is infinite and boundless. Mashenkim Atzilus Ariyesh Agbala. Atzilus is already contained in Agbala. Agam, and even though Shatzilus Selam Achtos, on the one hand, Atzilus is still bound up with the Likus, the world of unity. So what do we mean by Agbala? It says in Zayah the Iyur that goes in Atzilus that he and his life was, which is the Eid of Atzilus, and this is the Maitzel. He and the God Boy's causations, which goes on the Kelim, are all one. So the Chura, it's Bligvol. So the answer is it's all relative. Still, at the end of the day, Atzilus is already finite, has description. Esev Leitesha, 10 is not 9. Esev Leachadasor, 10 is not 11. Loshen Eitzchayim, Zevi Yitzir. Therefore, in order to go from Arich, which is Bligvol to Atzilus, it is a B'derech Digul, it's radical. We're going from Bligvul to Gvul, and hence, therefore there's the need of the only a mirrors, Ha'orah of Arich, which is the sidus that's thinking of the Dikna of the beard. Likewise, so Zoh also has a Dikna, but Chochmah doesn't. Because from Zoh we're going to Biyah, that's also Gamkin B'derech Digul. It's all relative. Even though Atzilus is Akbala, but only Akbala relative to Arich, relative to Biyat Bligvul. The Kivim Shabbat Atzilus Yevachayurchad Vivgamayurchad, because Atzilus, the Eir and Keli is all one with the Maitzel. Shagam HaKeli Mem Yochadim, even the Keich HaGvul there is bound up with the Maitzel with the Eir. So it's a Bligvul de Kekeli. In other words, Atzilus is not lost, that this Hagbala is not a Hagbala. It's the Eibush choosing to express himself in Akbala. That's not a real Akbala. That's a likus. So because of the unity of him, the Eibush, with the Sviris, including the Kalim, even the Gvul component, that 10 and not 9, 10 not 11, Chochma, all the names and descriptions. So the Gabi Biyah. So because it's all bound up with him, this is him expressing himself in these ways. Because what happens in Biyah already is that these very spheres start to get value intrinsically. A little bit lost on Biyah is that your whole mile is that's how he's expressing himself. In Biyah's already there's the beauty of Chachma, of Bina, they start to get intrinsic value. Mitzad the Nivra, in the world of Nivra, Gvul, these things are beautiful. So that's already a whole different world there, Biyah. So therefore, Lagabe Atzilus, Biyah Lagabe Atzilus is Bligvul, and hence there's sidus that has to go from Zoh to Biyah. V'lochinam shochem Atzilus the Biyah b'derech diluk. V'zeh, therefore, shezoh shemen nimish Atzilus the Biyah. That's why Zoh, from which comes the Ashpa to Biyah. That's the 6 midas, right? That they wish to create Biyah through Malchus. Yesh lezokin, so Zoh needs to have this tremendous tzimtzum, and hence the union of sidus. Where is there no sidus? Chachma. Shenkin Abba in lezokin, the Abba in lezokin. How could that be? Kam shochma b'chinas ha'chachma b'atzilas gufa, because chachma is nimshach in atzilas. It's still olam ba'achtos. All the dargis of Atzilus are also fused with the bitl of Chochmah. In the words of the Zohar, that the supernal Abba rests in Atzilus, which means it dominates all of the spheres, which simply means, as we said before, that all of the spheres of Atzilus are all dominated by the emes of the bitl of Chochmah, that this is the Eibush expressing himself. There's no need for tzimtzum there. Even as it descends from Chochmah to the Midas, there's no need for tzimtzum. it's a natural and fluid expression of Elikus. So therefore, Atzilus itself, even though we're going from Chochmah and then further levels, with all these levels, it's Olam Ha'achdus, it's all the Eibishter expressing himself, there's no radical change, and hence there's no inyan of Sidus, and therefore Abba Ein Li Zoki. So this is all going to be Akdama to explain. Let's just go back and remember this all began at the end of the previous verse. Explains the Arizal. The Misham is where Arich Anpin. That's where Paroi got his unique. Now it's the end of Paroi because the Kavanah Pnimis is being Isgala and Kedush is being established after the Pnimis. What is happening? That the Zroyas, the arms of Arich, are being enclosed where? In Havaya Lekeinu Chochmah Bina. So we have a question now, therefore. Let's continue. Please Dalit.
So to map things out, the Arich has a dikna, Chochmah doesn't, Zoh has one, and Biyah doesn't.
No. Biyah is yeah, right.
So basically, there's a pattern from Chochmah, from Arich has one, Chochmah doesn't, Zoh has one, Biyah doesn't.
Yeah. Biyah is already creation. Biyah is already the Nivra. Biyah is already the Makabel, the creation, the product of Atzilus. And the answer Bekitzer was why? Because when they have a radical Amshacha needs Sidus, hence from Arich to Atzilus, yes, from Atzilus to Biyah, yes, but Atzilus Gufa, no, because Atzilus is all a unified, rarefied the Torah world. But now this is then, having said that, we don't understand now what happened by Tzias Mitzrayim. Let's see the question. In light of what we explained now, okay, let's stop here and continue Be'ez Hashem tomorrow with God's help.